Good evening. I want to share with you my thoughts about communication. I've never really understood much the importance of communication. Maybe because of my background, we came from a poor, or shall I say, not so progressive part of the South, and as well, we have this particular insecurity or inferiority, and we are not confident enough to communicate and express what we want to say. As well, we don't want to hurt the person, and sometimes we'd rather be silent. And as well, also, we are sometimes deferring our our communicating because we were thinking that probably there would be additional information that would come into you so that you can have the full grasp of all the data that you need. But sometimes it's analysis paralysis, and it takes some time for you to gather all this information. So when I was in Mastral, there is a course of organizational behavior, ORGBEP, yeah, organizational behavior. And one of the trust chapter there is communication. And what I learned on that particular course is that communication, for one, is very important, and there are many language of communication. It's not only about what you want to say, what you want to express. Sometimes communication could be in the form of how you dress, of how you wear your makeup, how you sing, and all that. So there are many forms of our language of communication, but the most common of which is verbal communication. But then again, there are in when I was studying a short course in the Asian Institute of Management, we have also a short course on communication. And one that I could remember that is vivid on my mind is that some communication or some conversation could start with very good premising statement. So it's not directly saying sometimes you have to premise. Sometimes you have to set down the tone of communicating. As well, my experience is that it is better to start communication with a low tone, or a low voice, or a low mode of voice, which is sometimes, admittedly, for me in the past, maybe I was not effective because my personality is that gigil, but now, as I grew older, I realized the value of the basic premising statement, and also the way you premise the conversation. And as well, you should also, because some people are get intimidated if you like, for example, you're talking to a person, you speak in English while the other person is conversing with you in Tagalog and all that. So you should also match, or the way you're saying, or the way you're speaking, or the way you're communicating with the person you're talking to. And if is comfortable in Tagalog, then you speak in Tagalog. If you're comfortable in the vernacular, or in the dialect of your own, if you speak Ilocano, then speak Ilocano or something. So there should be something that both parties should feel comfortable with. And another is, these are really spontaneous, huh? Another is the matter of the one you're talking to. So, say for example, I'm a mother and talking to my children, that would be different. And I'm a boss talking to my subordinates, that would be different as well. And also the topic that you want to discuss, right? So, say for example, you're in a person of authority, like for example, you're a mayor, or you're the CFO or the CEO, then chances are you speak differently. But if you're on equal footing, like for example, I will be having a meeting with my classmate in Masteral, Chris, in the near future, then our language would be at par, right? Even if I'm older, or I don't know. But I think even if, because we're classmates in Masteral, so it's really a matter of the the expectation to the other party, whether you are the more mature one or the older one, that that should be more understanding and more not necessarily compassionate, but more understanding of the situation, more critical of the situation. The more the one that would carry the conversation very well. But one that one that I learned from life is that, um, do not start communication with a very angry stance. Rather, you can actually lower your mode or tone one one tone lower. And in that sense, there will be no fear, there will be no intimidation, and there will be no more and the other person will be open to communicating with you. So um, it's really, sabi nga nila truth hurts, but it's a matter of how you say it, the matter of how you communicate it. I'm not saying that I am perfect, because as it is, I would like to admit to you that in the past, I committed many, many wrong ways of communicating. And there are even times that I'd rather be silent. I'd rather not say anything, and will never say anything to you. Will never know what's in my thought and my mind. But it's also not good sometimes. It's better to communicate, and as long as you have the tone, or the lower tone of conversation, then I think you can be always you can communicate it even if it hurts, right? So yeah. That's my short course on communication. And if you don't use your communication skills wisely, some of the best relationships can be broken. Husband and wife, mother and child, coach and protege, and all that. And it's really a matter of putting yourself on the other person, and being direct, but you should not say something that you would regret later, and you should not say something that would make it appear that you are bossy or you are controlling. So that's my short course on communication, and I hope that I'm sharing with you my experience, and I'm just being tactful and honest on how I was before. So, and I don't want you to commit the same mistakes, and there is still an avenue for everyone to rectify, or shall I say, change how you communicate with the other party, right? So I hope that you can communicate it well to to anyone that you have a relationship with, your husband, your children, your subordinates, your whoever. And I hope that you have found in me the reason for some inputs on my communication thoughts. That is everyone, and good evening.